Alright, all y'all tired gamers, dads especially. Is Vampire Crawlers worth your limited gaming time when you're balancing everything life throws at you? If you're looking for something you can just jump into and hit play all after a long day, or you want something you can actually engage with, optimize builds, chain turns, and really break the system, then let's break down if this is actually worth your limited time. Because when time's tight, and energy's even tighter, it's not just, is it fun anymore? It's, how much does it demand from you? How does it feel all the way through? And what's it like when you have to step away when life happens? Alright, real quick, to respect both your time and energy, this is amazing for almost any time frame, whether you want to play for 15 minutes or a full hour, and it's far more involved than it first appears. But there's also something here that could completely make or break it for you. So if all you needed was a quick answer, you're good. But if you want to know why, let's break it down. This is basically Vampire Survivors meets Slay the Spire, but turned into a dungeon crawler. You start with one crawler, and eventually build into running a full team of 3, each one adding into your overall build. Runs are straightforward. You can choose a stage and difficulty, move through dungeon style stages, fight through enemies, and push towards a boss, repeating this until Red Death comes for you, which counts as completing a stage for some reason. Combat is a turn-based card system. You draw cards, spend mana, and ideally play them in numerical order to build your combo stack and scale effects. You don't have to follow that perfectly, but that's where most of your power comes from. When you can no longer play, the enemy gets their turn, and those turns are telegraphed so you can adapt your plays. Early on, it's pretty simple. Your deck and hand stay small, but later, you'll go from holding 3 to 5 cards to a hand of 20 or more, where you'll also be regenerating mana, chaining effects, and letting synergies play together. It can get to the point where you can even make it so bosses don't get a turn. And that's where it can click for you, because doing that feels really satisfying. Outside of runs, you unlock different layers that help progress your gameplay and power. Eventually the game stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like domination. Build possibilities open up, and unique synergies start happening, usually filling the screen with effects. And despite simple graphics and gameplay, the music here manages to elevate the experience in a way I didn't expect. It even got my 1-year-old daughter dancing along. It really just has a way of making you lock in and bop along with the beat. And once you're in that flow, especially when things start coming together, that's usually when life hits. So, what are your options when you have to step away when life happens? You can pause at any point. There's no manual save, but it basically auto-saves constantly. Pretty much every action you take, which is honestly amazing. I had the game crash mid-fight while streaming, and it loaded right back into the exact moment of battle I was on. So, if life happens here, you don't have to worry about losing any of your progress, and you just drop right back in where you left off. So, stepping away is handled, but when you actually commit to a run, this is where the game really shows what it's asking from you. You can play this in short bursts, like 5 minutes, and still make progress thanks to how the game saves. To actually clear a stage, you're looking at around 15 minutes early on. Later, that can stretch closer to 45 minutes or more. There's no traditional story to get invested in here, but there is a final boss that can mark the end or completion of all the stages this game offers. It took me about 15 hours to get there, but that can vary depending on how much you engage with builds and unlocks, with the devs estimating closer to 20 to 30 hours for your experience. Along the way, early progression can feel slow, but you'll unlock things quickly enough to keep things feeling fresh, and each run can feel different depending on your choices before and during it. You'll invest earned gold in ways that stack passives, shape your deck, or even influence rarity before a run really starts. These lead to a huge power shift, and once it comes together, the difference is immediately noticeable and only ramps up from there. And you'll need that growing power too, because progression here comes with clearly stated increases in difficulty. Overall, I will put the difficulty for the full game at low to moderate. Most of it comes from the stage and difficulty levels you pick, RNG, how well you understand the mechanics, and how well you craft your deck during a run. Early on, it can feel rough if you push faster than you're ready for. You don't have full control yet, and runs can feel more like you're trying to survive every single turn. Going in without understanding the mechanics will feel even rougher in later areas. But once you get it all down, it becomes much easier for actual builds to come online and to manipulate things in your favor. And the more you push toward mastery, the more attention the game can start to feel like it's asking from you. So this isn't a completely relaxed experience, but the demand is pretty low at first. I've literally fallen asleep playing it. You can even play this one-handed, which helps when your kid decides your keyboard is their new drum set. The play all button works well early on if you're tired or just want a more relaxed run, but intentional play quickly starts outperforming it. Since it only plays cards from right to left, it can eventually lead to reckless card usage and mistakes that become far more punishing later on. And honestly, that's why this works for me. Being a tired dad never meant I stopped wanting to actually play. I still want enough depth to pull off satisfying builds and smart synergies, even in short sessions. But if you're looking for something that stays fully brain off all the way through, this could end up feeling a bit too involved. Focus demand can rise to a medium, especially later on when you're juggling larger hands, mana generation, combo stacking, and enemy intent all at once. And I won't lie, major mistakes can absolutely affect the run. That said, the game doesn't demand perfect play, but understanding the systems and paying attention makes a huge difference. And when you also have distractions from life happening around you, kids running around, family nearby, what's this actually like to have on in your living room? Apart from having hordes of undead or different kinds of monsters and demons, there isn't anything here that's graphic or bloody. Presentation is pretty tame, very retro, pixel-like visuals, and simple animations. This is rated teen if you care about ratings, but overall, this is going to come down to your discretion. For us, this has been completely fine in a shared space with young kids. My daughter, for some reason, has taken a particular liking to the undead, and mostly just sits on my lap watching and bopping to the music. So once you got all that covered, what's actually going to keep you coming back to the game?
Excellent.
This is going to matter a lot depending on what you want out of this game. Once you beat every stage and the final boss, that's pretty much it progression wise. There isn't really any true post game here, so replay value mostly comes down to how much you enjoy the core experience itself. There are still a good number of unlocks to work toward, and while most happen naturally just by playing, some encourage experimenting with different characters, builds, and even challenges like beating Red Death, which can help keep things fresh if you want more goals to chase. But overall, everything can still be completed before beating the final boss. So, is Vampire Crawlers worth a Tired Dad's limited gaming time? This is a solid yes for me, especially if you're into roguelikes and deck builders. What stood out most was the combo-based system, which enhances effects and creates these really satisfying chains that feel different from other roguelikes. The biggest friction point is the slow start. Early progression can feel rough while the systems gradually open up, and there's also no real post-game, so once you're done, that's pretty much it unless you chase unlocks or just really love the core loop. And later on, the play all button quickly loses viability if you want to keep pushing through the full game. You'll need to actively engage with the systems to keep runs going. But once everything clicks, the game starts feeling less RNG dependent and more about how intentionally you build around your synergies, and that's where it really lands. Runs can get a little long in the later stages, but the save system makes it easy to instantly step away without worrying about losing progress. So, if that sounds appealing to you, This can be a surprisingly good fit for almost any gaming window, and that's exactly where it earns its place for me. If you like this review and would like to see more, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'm split, and I'm splitting. See y'all next time.